I'm sure you've heard this phrase before, stinking thinking. And if you haven't, you're going to love it because it is a very good way of describing a place that every one of us gets into once in a while, and some people get into a lot. And it will help you recognize it when you see it in yourself and in others. So, originally described the alcoholic who, when the alcoholic got drunk, they would revert to that stinking thinking and just get in that funk where they were just kind of trapped. And it would be a dry drunk when they would go to that stinking thinking, even though they weren't drinking, maybe if they were trying to be sober and they weren't in recovery. And sometimes the stinking thinking would precede a slip where they would go back to drinking because of all the negative thinking that they would get into that would then result in them going back to drinking. So everyone gets in it once in a while, but like I said, some people get into it more often and they get into it even deeper. So here's some commonalities of what happens with stinking thinking. So first of all, you got a lot of negative feelings about everything, really unhappy, in a funk, but you blame the negative feelings and the negative circumstances on people and other things. So events, outside, things and other people, but not on yourself. You don't look at yourself. It's the opposite of being introspective. It is blaming. The next one is you kind of have this black and white or all or nothing thinking. Life is either horrible or life is either good. And usually not good when you're in stinking thinking. Everything is bad. Everything is hopeless. Everybody is mean to you. Everybody doesn't understand you. Everything has turned against you. So it's just in real big, catastrophic, all or nothing, everything's bad thinking. Next one is isolating from people. You pull away from your support. You probably wouldn't go to your support group. You wouldn't make phone calls to your sponsor. You wouldn't make phone calls to cancel your counseling appointment. Don't go to church. You just kind of isolate and pull away from everyone and don't go to your normal activities. You feel bad about everyone and everything. So it's just this really dark place of just everything is horrible. Nothing is good. So that might include putting yourself down. It might feel like minimizing good things in your life. It's just everything is horrible. And then you get, especially alcoholics, it's noted that they go to a place of resentment. So they're feeling sorry for themselves, they're blaming other people and outside events for the way things are, and then they begin to become resentful. And the resentments grow and they grow and they grow, and to where they're just get to the place they're seething and they'll pull up past things and become resentful again. And resentment means to re-feel the original sentiment. So they're pulling up past things and re-feeling the negative feelings they had about these things and getting mad at you all over again. And then they react immaturely instead of processing emotions. So they don't have introspection. They don't look at them. They don't think, oh, I'm just in a bad place. I'm in a bad mood. I'm bringing up all this stuff. No, they think, oh, how dare they? And that person begin to just kind of ruminate in it and just go to the worst place and give in to their low frustration tolerance and become impatient and just think kind of, like they're entitled and people aren't doing this for me. So they're just very immature. And then they enter into that dark mood full of self-pity. It just absolutely, they are in a dark place, feeling sorry for themselves. Everybody does this to me, nothing works for me. So they become even more entitled into this dark mood. And then if they may become hopeless and think, forget it, there's nothing I can do. And then they go into like a depression. So if you have somebody in your life, I have people in my life. My dad was an alcoholic when I grew up, and I can literally right now, even though I'm not trying, as I'm talking to you, I can picture the stinking thinking times, the times where the lights were off, sitting in his room, wouldn't come out, and he would be in that dark, dark place, and it was very predictable. I have other people in my life also that can get into that place. Now, here's the thing. If you're getting into it, you might be able to recognize yourself slipping into it and know you're going to that place and stop and make choices. Call a sponsor, call a friend, go see your therapist, do some praying, go take a walk, do the opposite of isolating, start thinking positive, write a gratitude journal, check your thoughts, take responsibility for your own self, do the opposite of all of those things. And if you are with somebody in a relationship who goes to stinking thinking, it's very important that you know the signs and that you recognize you cannot pull somebody out of stinking thinking. You cannot talk someone out of it. You can't make somebody happy and keep them from going into it. You can't convince them that they're in stinking thinking. Most you might be able to say to somebody who's in a recovery program is, I think you need to call your sponsor, and hopefully they will. The most important thing is you need to detach, 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 detach. Someone's in stinking thinking, not the time to bring up a big problem and expect them to be able to self introspect and own their part and have a discussion with you. They're going to be touchy, they're going to be moody, they're going to be negative. Maybe you decide, I'm not sitting down at the table with this person. I'm not going to be here with this person with this stinking thinking and be straining to have conversation and try to make it positive and have this person grumpy or negative or not talking to me or answering, rudely. No, might be like, I don't need to do that. Like, I'm going to go somewhere else and not be around the stinking thinking for a while. So you got to recognize it in other people when they go that place. And you could set some boundaries. You could be like, when you're in the stinking thinking or whatever word you want to use to describe it, I'm not going to sit with you. I'm not going to eat with you. I'm not going to drive in the car with you. I'm not going to go away to the cabin with you, or, whatever it is. You could make choices that protect yourself. And you could say, I'm not going to talk to you about things. So a person in stinking thinking might bring up their resentments and expect you to address them and defend yourself. And you could be like, not in the mood you're in, not going there, not talking about them when you just want to argue or pick on me. So there's some boundaries you can use with that too. So, okay, I want you to recognize when you're sliding into stinking thinking, when you're in stinking thinking, you're going to reach out and you're going to have somebody help talk about it and have somebody help pull you out of that by not isolating, by journaling your gratitude, by checking your thoughts. And when somebody else is in stinking thinking, detach, 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 and set boundaries. So here's my fun scripture about this, Proverbs 17:12. I want you to picture this. Better to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than a fool bent on folly. Now, if you know anything about bears, a mother bear who's had her cubs taken away from her is very dangerous. She will kill you physically, okay? She is really mad that her cubs are gone. And that is better than you dealing with a fool bent on folly, which is foolishness or sin or whatever is going on. So better for you to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than to try to engage with somebody who is in stinking thinking. Okay. Remember that picture the next time that comes up. Okay. God bless.